Hi everybody and welcome to Mark Bajerski YouTube channel. Today we're talking Moldavite. Yay! Okay, first of all, if you've never seen me before or heard of me with regards to Moldavite, welcome to my home. This is the Pure Energy Healing Academy at this moment in time. The Pure Energy Healing Academy is basically geared up for anybody who wants to learn how to heal and work with crystals. I've been a crystal healer for, as many people know, I have said it many times, I'm tired of saying it, but for 16 years. Proud of it, but tired of saying it. And what do I know about Moldavite? Well, with a deep, humble respect, not that much. I do know the feel of Moldavite. I know what it does on a level of healing people. I know a little bit about its value. I know a little bit about how people value it, how they let's say how they value it to where it's dug. I don't want to go into detail about how it's dug, where it's dug, because it goes a little bit dark really, and that really emphasizes something that I don't want. It's not important, because at the end of the day, what Moldavite does and how it works for me as a healer is the only thing that matters. So leave that aside. I want to focus now that you know who I am and what I've done. I've probably handled well in excess of 10,000 pieces of Moldavite easily. I mean, just around me now there's 4,000, so probably a lot more. So 16 years ago I was put a piece of Moldavite in my hand. It was only a little piece. I think back then it was 17 euros. That was about 16 years ago. And it was about this size, probably 0.90 grams, not even a gram, okay? And it was on a stand belonging to a lady called Joelle. Beautiful lady. She sells crystals. She's an authentic crystal dealer. I love them kind of dealers. They're just beautiful people. Not dealers, they're sellers of crystals. And I like all sellers of crystals at the shows. Just like I like fruit and vegetable stands from families who run them. You see? This is what it should be. Not corporations, not eBay, not Amazon, not the other ones. I'm talking about people who genuinely love their produce and their crystals. So 16 years ago I put this piece of, well, my mentor back then, who was the Psychic Queen of Ireland, she was known all over the world. She was called up by FBI to handle occult deaths and stuff, so she'd read for a lot of famous people, Joe Bon Jovi, Tom Cruise, and so on. So yeah, she took me under her wing and started showing me what I already knew. Basically what happens, a good teacher always shows you what you're doing and tells you what you're doing, so you make sense of it. So I got this piece of Moldavite and I'm like, what on earth is this? What the hell is this? My hand, and like whoa, I literally elevated. So to me, I mean, I was drawn in by Moldavite. Somebody made sure they put it into my hand, and Spirit or the Moldavites certainly wanted me to start working with it. And from that moment on, I worked with Moldavite. So back then, 16 years ago, 0.97 grams, under a gram. To buy a piece of Moldavite was 17 from a reputable dealer. You can pay for a piece of Moldavite at, say, I'm going to give you for example, because I've just come back from the Czech Republic because I wanted to do a year's buying. So I spent a month there and went all over Besanica, Maliklom, spoke to all my dealer friends who I've bought from for years. They were all there, and I was really lucky enough to be taken to the sand mines, where the sand mines are basically where you get all your Moldavite from. That's it. And then I got taken to the special places, Besanice and other places, other fields where the real Moldavite, the real beautiful specimens come from. So while I was there, Somebody heard I was there, because the Moldavite community is a very tight-knit community. They keep things very close to themselves. Everybody knows what everybody's got. It's a bit like fishermen. Oh, John caught a pike yesterday. It was this size. Everybody knows that John got that pike. Well, imagine that to when a dealer has bought a piece from a digger, and it's a really beautiful specimen. All the rest of the community, they won't tell you this, but it's true. They all know everybody's business. I was so stunned when I got to one of the shows in Germany, and I went to one of the main Moldavite dealers who I'd never really spoken to before. He's from Germany, a really nice guy. He's written a book about Moldavite, but not in the Moldavite in the spiritual sense, but more in the science sense. And we ended up talking, and he said to me, and I said, I really like that piece there, can I buy it? And then he said, as long as you don't put it in a coffee grinder and mince it up. And I went, oh, so you know me? He says, everybody knows you, Mark. I went, oh, okay. I didn't realise. He said, yeah. And I said, well, you know that they were only tiny pieces that I put in there. They were basically the throwaways, the fragments that I put in there. They weren't quality pieces. He says, I'm just kidding. And I felt a bit bad, really, because I'm thinking, it's amazing how people can be so judgmental, and at the same time they're all buying pieces which are all cut and all polished. So you've done the same thing. So anyway, it is what it is. So getting back to me being there, this guy got to hear about me and he wanted to meet me. So we sat and had a coffee, and he took out 5 pieces. And one of the pieces was this shape here. So basically it was that shape, and it had this lovely little tail. Absolutely gorgeous. I tried to do it again, but I'm really rubbish at drawing. So imagine that, okay? And I took this little piece, just a tiny piece. I went, I'm having that. I just felt the energy from it, looked at it and thought, that is the most beautiful piece of Moldavite I've seen, that size. I've never seen anything more beautiful. It's so beautiful, I'm having it. And he went, oh, I'm not so sure if I want to sell it you. What? Oh, I've got to sell all of this. If you want it, you have to have it all. Well, there were a dumbbell there. A dumbbell. I'm going to show you what the dumbbell looks like. I didn't buy his dumbbell. It looked like this. It was like that. It was a dumbbell like that. These are, in the eyes of the specimen buyers, these are the ones who are just interested in the perfection of Moldavite. He was trying to sell me one of these, but a lot smaller, and it was more translucent. You could see through it more because it was thinner and smaller, but it was again beautiful. And I guess you guys who are all watching, you've probably seen it 100 times there in Czech Republic. Okay, so he was trying to sell that and a few other bits. So there were like 4 or 5 or 6 bits, and he wanted, I'm not going to tell you how much he wanted for the whole lot, but it was more than 3 cars, buying 3 brand new cars. And I said, can I just weigh that? And I just weighed the little piece. I just weighed it, and it was 2.9 something grams. And it was offered to me trade price. That's for a trade, so I have to sell it as well. 3,500 euros. Okay. Now, did you hear what I said there? 3,500 euros for less than 3 grams. That's 1,000 a gram. Okay. Now, I didn't get upset. I didn't start screaming and shouting. I went, okay, it's beautiful. I want it, but working out, do I want it just for myself, or do I want to sell it? Do I want it, is it worth it? And I couldn't pull myself to buy it. I just couldn't. I wanted it, and I'm thinking about even today I'd love it, but there's certain things that I say, you know what, no. So I didn't buy that. So let's get back to where I am now. There's a reason why I've told you that. Every now and again, I'll have an attack on my wall on Facebook or YouTube that my prices are ridiculous and this, that, and the other. And I don't really bite to it because it's ridiculous, because everybody in every level of Moldavite, which is the first level is the diggers who then sell it to the dealers. The dealers then look towards selling it to either the Chinese or whoever or me. And then from there, the dealer then has to find a client. So depending on where that Moldavite is dug from, how special it is, the quality of it is all to do with how much you would be paying for it, i.e. me. So 16 years ago, it was about 16 or 17 euros. Now, to buy a decent piece for, again, 1 gram, you're going to be paying anywhere between, I don't know, 15 to 30 euros, maybe more. But when you step out of that, the Moldavite as just a piece of beautiful Moldavite, which there's no such thing, they're all beautiful, and you start looking at different aspects of the Moldavite, and I'll show you what I mean by different aspects. When you start looking at something like this, which is from Besenica, and that is a hedgehog, you start looking at not just where it's from, which is the creme de la creme of Moldavite. You start then looking at the entirety of the Moldavite. Is it chipped? No. That makes it perfect. That raises the value. Look at it again. Is it translucent? Has it got a colour which is slightly different than all colours? Is the tip perfect? Is there anything that you... And now look at the shape. What do you think to that shape? Okay, then there is a value to all of those things. Okay? So you're looking here at one man's collection. This is a collection that people will be drooling over who love Moldavite. Yes, I am a Moldavite collector. Yes, I am a Moldavite dealer. And yes, I do sell every type of Moldavite there is. And I love them all. They're all equally as beautiful. And to me, it is nothing to do with how big it is or how valuable it is. Moldavite, no matter even the tiny pieces, even the little pieces, are beautiful and powerful to me. So I'll move on to the next subject. Moldavites sometimes have, and this is for all you guys out there from Czech Republic, just to give you an idea as well, just so you understand, there's another side to Moldavite that probably you guys don't know about. And it's a small club of people that I know who collect Moldavites. They collect them because of their uniqueness. Okay, so I'm going to give you an idea now and show you what I mean, because I'm always looking for a certain type of Moldavite that you don't probably know about. So it's great that you're watching this, guys, in Czech Republic. And it's about the spiritual side to Moldavite in the sense of the signs that they give. So I have a huge list of collectors for these things, and they love them. And I've got two pieces here that I want to show you. So this is about the signs in the Moldavite. So it can be symbols and it can be animals. So here's one of my very special pieces, and see if you see what's in this and what it looks like. Can you see a little bird and its beak? I mean, it's just divine. Collector's piece. I'll show you another. It's really hard to see unless you take a photo, but people know. This is a bear, but you have to look very closely. So this is a symbol of a bear, and when you look at it from my end, it's absolutely divine. I know it's hard to see, but that's a bear's head and mouth, okay? So that's another aspect of, oh, why are you charging so much for that? Well, I'll tell you why. If the diggers are digging, if the sandpits are getting it, and there's something really unique about a piece, that adds a different dimension to it, a different value. And the value is only as much as somebody will pay, right? So like for me, I like really unusual stuff, really different stuff. And I have my own collection that I would never sell of really unusual things like this. And yes, you can't weigh it and say that's how much it is, because it becomes a different aspect completely. It becomes a different entirety to trying to value a piece. It's ridiculous even suggesting that when I have hundreds of people who want to buy this, right? But then get another piece the same way, which has no energy to it, no in their eyes, because they're looking for a certain aspect of Moldavite. So there's another thing. So moving on to Moldavite, I started with my first piece of Moldavite, which I bought from a really genuine, reputable man who came over here every now and again with pieces of Moldavite. And I started buying them, and luckily enough, traveling the world and picking pieces up, Ibiza, Barcelona, wherever I was, and listening to the genuine stories where they came from. Some of the pieces were like 30 years old. Some people had them for 50 years. So I knew these were genuine pieces that I was buying. I would never buy off the internet because I don't know what I'm buying. So I was always careful where I bought from. To make sure I've got the right piece, and then I'd hold it and feel the energy from it and think, wow, this is Moldavite. You know, you not normally understand it when your palm starts throbbing, or your fingers starts going like that, or you start feeling sweat, or your heart beats. When I was at Germany, in the show in Germany, I had the little Moldavite chips. There was maybe 4 or 5, no, there were more. There was probably 10 or 15,000 Moldavite chips. I was there 6 hours going through those chips to get, I think I got a few hundred of them, and I had to leave the arena because my heart was beating so fast with the power of Moldavite. I literally had to walk outside. I just couldn't cope anymore. So that's the power of Moldavite. So going back to how you value it, my piece then, when I may have bought a piece and it might have cost, say, €200, a little teardrop, because I used to like teardrops. I don't know why, and some people don't like the word teardrop, but it really opened my heart and made me cry. That's why I thought, well, it makes sense to call it teardrop, because whenever I have a piece of teardrop, it makes me cry. So it's opening my heart. So I get the teardrop, and then I work with that crystal. I work with it on clients, I work with it on myself. I'm putting energy into it of a specific type. After I've done that, then my crystal becomes ready, and normally I'd already have a buyer for it. So I'd have a lineup of maybe 100 clients, 200 clients all wanting a Moldavite. So, and I'd say, well, I have to work on each piece. So it took time. So that's how I built my website up in Moldavite, and why people come to me, because it's not just a piece of Moldavite, which there's no such thing as a piece of Moldavite. Just a Moldavite is very, very special. But I was a healer, and I was putting certain energies into the crystal to activate it in different ways, so that it had a dual energy, the Moldavite energy, plus the energy of what I call the universal flow, this energy that comes through, and you can pull that in, and you can harness new energy to create and heal in different ways, or to open you up in different ways. So then I might have worked, I don't know, 100 hours on one crystal, 50 hours on another, 20 on another, 300 depending. And thus I sell my crystals at that price, because I was adding €1 an hour onto that crystal, because I thought, well, I'm doing my healing work anyway. I'm being paid by my client for the healing work. So I just put €1 on top of this crystal. So I basically had a rack. And the rack I had, it looked like a tree, and it was metal, and it had hooks on, and all the way around it I'd hang my Moldavites or any crystal that I'd work on as a healer. So I'd put in healing energy. So the first row of the tree branches had between 10 and 20 hours on. As soon as I hit 20 hours, they went up to the next one, which was another 10 or 20 hours, and then up to the next one and the next one. And then when it gets to the top, then I'd say to my client, this has had 50 hours or 100 hours, this has had 10 hours. I'd say, and they'd say, oh, I'd like that one. And I said, that's not ready yet. That's only had maybe 15 hours. I think it needs more. I'd like to put more energy into that. So I'd say, come back in a month. And I'd put their name on it, and they'd want that one. So I'd work on it and say, okay, I feel this is ready now. That's how Mark Bajerski crystals started. And to this day, and last night I went to sleep at 1:30ish, something like that, with about 50 crystals around me while I was working with them. And that's my work. So when you go to my website and are disrespectful and saying nasty things, I think it's a shame that people would do that. But I know why they do it. They do it because they're upset because they may not be able to afford it and they want that one, so they're angry with me. Well, let me tell you, I wanted that little tiny piece, and it was 3.5 grams, 3,500 euros. I wanted that little piece so much, but I didn't get angry with him. I understood that's his price, that's what he wants, and I respect that. That's it, because you'll never see another one ever again in the world. And you'll never see another Moldavite on my website anywhere else in the world worked on by me. So if you don't respect that and you're angry about it and you're angry with me, then I don't want you to have it anyway. I want somebody who loves it, who saved up like I did when I first started. I saved my money up from my work to buy a piece, which made me excited, thinking, you know what, if it's meant for me, I'll buy it. And I saved it up, and then I'd ring somebody up and say, have you still got that Moldavite? I want it, I've got the money for it. That's the whole process of buying Moldavite, the excitement of working for it, the excitement. That's like going for a walk, doing your spiritual walk and on the Camino de Santiago, not getting angry with somebody because you can't afford it, which is ridiculous and petty and narrow-minded. So I hope that means something to you. Lovely. There's not many people who say it, but I just want to shake some people up, And another thing as well, it bothers me that you would say that instead of saying something lovely like, oh, I fell in love with that Moldavite, it was so beautiful, but just at the moment I can't afford. That would have been a lot better because you might have got it for free. Fool. Be nice and the world is nice back. So yeah, I wanted to show you these pieces as well, and I give you a little bit of insight into Moldavite and the value of them. And here's another beautiful collection which can take a lifetime to collect. Yeah, the most beautiful pieces in the world, and that one there is 100% Bessanitz hedgehog, and it is a museum quality. And how the buyers value it is they take a looking glass and they look at every single tip of the Moldavite to see if it's been dipped in acid, because the Moldavite dealers are pretty clever. They'll take it to a fixer who fixes the tips, and sometimes you can't see, but if you smell, you can sometimes smell the acid on it, so then you know it's been tampered with. Me, I don't care. I look at a Moldavite and I'm not selling it because of these specimen buyers. That doesn't interest me at all. I buy them because I can feel the energy. Like this one, oh my God, my neck is like tingling like crazy. My feet are like tingling like mad. This is heaven on earth. This was flown from heaven to earth. Moldavite, my stomach's doing somersaults. My heart's going boom, boom, boom. These are the most beautiful Moldavites in the world, and every single Moldavite is beautiful. It doesn't matter what it is. I get excited with a Moldavite, which is like 10 euros, 20 euros, 30 euros, 50 euros. I get excited with any Moldavite that I get my hand on. Even I used to sell the tiniest of slivers on my website after I'd finished working with them for 20 hours. Little tiny slivers. They were like 0.47. That's half a gram. And I was selling them and people were being blown away. In fact, I haven't got any, but I've got some small pieces, but slightly bigger than that. And they were being blown away because they were putting them on their third eye, and they were saying they'd never ever felt anything so powerful in their life. Right? So it's nothing to do, the value has nothing to do with it at all. The feeling, the pull to Moldavite is so important, so important. Every Moldavite is beautiful, but you should feel that pull to it. So when you go into your local shop what sells crystals, you know you're about 90% you're going to buy a piece of genuine Moldavite. And they're not cheap anymore. I said they're not cheap. They've gone skyrocketed because they're hard to dig. They're hard to get. And that's the bottom line. I spent a month all around there. I got to know everybody. I got to know loads of new people. And it isn't that easy. Yes, you can buy Moldavite, definitely. But the value is skyrocketing. You know, you don't even think twice about buying a piece of Moldavite now per gram for anywhere between 60 and 100 euros a gram now. No problem. It is what it is. That's trade. That's me buying trade. Like 150 a gram, I'm like, wow, that's a lot, but it's still beautiful. Do I want it? I don't buy it because I'm selling it. I'm buying it because I love it. And then there's the other pieces, bits and pieces that I get, you know. So everything is relative when you're buying Moldavite. So it depends what you want, really. It really depends what you want. And yes, you have to pay for it if you want something so unique, so special. You have to pay for it. That's the bottom line. It's no different in any other line of work, no different to any other crystal or any other semi-precious stone or any other precious stone. It's the same. Supply and demand. Okay? So I guess that's it, really. We had more like a little chat more than anything else today about Moldavite. But yeah, I love talking about Moldavite. Thank you so much. I hope you like my top. It's green, and this is how I felt when I was in the land of Moldavite. I felt like this. I felt like that. I felt free. I felt amazing. The power of Moldavite is amazing in the Czech Republic. I gotta say, you guys are the luckiest people in the world. But you know what? I wouldn't want it to be anywhere else. That's the truth. It's a perfect place. It really is. And I was so blessed to walk around some of the very few of the most beautiful fields where the most beautiful Besenica hedgehogs come from. I was so lucky to stand on the field underneath me where there are still the most amazing Moldavites in the world. And you know what? Part of me said, leave it. Leave it now. Leave them alone. Just leave them be. Leave them there. Just let them have some breathing space. Let them enjoy and let them do what they're meant to do in Mother Nature. The energy there was incredible. I did tell everybody. I don't know if I did a video and shared it, but the trees came inwards. Nobody noticed it apart from me and somebody else. The trees came inwards. So all around that field, the trees were bent towards the Moldavite. Isn't that something? Normally trees bend towards the sun, right? Or whatever. But I mean, like, come on. I was like, what are they doing? That doesn't make any sense. And you think, yes, it does. That's the power of Moldavite. That's the energy. That's the power. Eh? That's amazing. Okay, well, thank you anyway, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed this little chat. It was kind of like a little workshop, a Moldavite workshop. I hope you've learned a few little things from me. I hope you see Moldavite in a different way now. And if you are one of those who get angry about Moldavite, maybe I've helped you change your mind and have a little bit more respect for Moldavite and understand how it's dug, where it, you know, where it's dug from, and more importantly, why prices are the way they are at this moment. Okay, it's never just quite what you've seen, what you think or feel. There's always another story that you might not know. So have a great day, guys. Take care of yourself, and I'll try and share some more Moldavite videos with you as well. I'm trying to think of something somebody asked me about Moldavite. There's so many questions asked every day, but yeah, I think I've tackled it well enough for the pricing of Moldavite. If there is any questions, please put them below here, and if I have time, I'll do my best to try and answer them. And that's it, really. Have a great day. Take care of yourself. I'm getting back to my Moldavites now. See you later.